I grasped the door handle, but paused, catching another glimpse of myself in the glass door pane. I shook my head, unsure of what to make of this decision, unready to push through those glass doors, uncertain of what fate awaited me on the other side of the threshold. On that fall day in 1971, I was young and black, defiant and angry, and more than ever determined not to be like my father. Yet there I stood, about to report for work at IBM, where he'd worked for 25 years. When I finally pushed through the double doors, conversation stopped. The whiz-peck-whiz of Selectric typewriters fell silent. Many heads turned toward the teenager with the huge afro, who now stood inside their doors. For an instant, I held hostage some 50 men in white shirts and ties, cradling telephone headsets, and a dozen female secretaries with their fingers perched on typewriter keys. I scanned the room for black faces, but found only 3. 2 men immersed in a sea of white faces at the center, and a young woman at work as a secretary to my left. Art Conrad, the branch manager, stood abruptly when I entered his office. He embodied what I came to call the IBM manager's look. A man who could have played football in college, tall, broad-shouldered, square-jawed, solidly built, and white. He reached down to shake my hand. "IBM dress code," he said. I didn't reply. Conrad trained an intense stare on me, but I held my silent ground and returned his stare. At last he seemed to finally relent. "I'm supposed to give you this." He handed me a small, open box containing a silver pen and pencil set nestled in cotton. "Thanks." I headed toward the door. "Ford." I spun back around. "Take any empty seat." He pointed toward the open floor. "You won't be here long." "Excuse me?" His devilish grin now seemed to be payback for my previous silence. "Class," he said. "You'll be in class for the better part of a year." I can only imagine his first entries in my employee file. I took a seat partially hidden by one of the large pillars that supported the floor above. I had not been seated long when my telephone rang. "I like the way you look," the female voice said. She hung up. I swung around to the secretarial pool, but no one looked back. Soon after, a black man casually made his way to my desk. He sat on the edge and leaned over. "Name's Harold," he said. "Harold Brown." "Clyde Ford." "Listen, Clyde. You want to do well in this company? Take some advice. Suit? Lose it. Get a plain suit, dark blue or gray. Normal length, no wide lapels. Wear a white shirt, maybe light blue shirt. Red or blue tie. You want to be different? Try a 3-piece suit, a button-down shirt, or a dotted tie." Harold pulled up a pant leg. "Dark socks, black or dark brown shoes." He looked at my afro and pork-chop sideburns, ran a hand through his crew cut, and smoothed the sides of his face. "Man, I don't know what to tell you about all of that hair. It's embarrassing. You just don't get it, do you? You're working for IBM now." Harold made his way back to his desk, shaking his head. In fact, it was Harold who didn't get it. I may have been 19 years old, still a teenager, that first day at work, but nothing about my dress or my demeanor was unconscious or unintentional. A generation earlier, in 1947, my father also gazed across a similar threshold into an IBM office in New York City. He was a member of the greatest generation and had been a first lieutenant in the famed Black 369th Infantry Regiment of the U.S. Army. From the photographs I saw of my father as a young man, at 27 years old, he cut a handsome figure in his dark gray suit, red striped tie, and wide-brimmed hat with a satin band. But instead of defiance, he masked diffidence. Instead of anger,